Hello and welcome to Tech Deals. Black Friday 2019 is here, and have I got some amazing PC deals for you. Count them, 9 awesome Black Friday specials on pre-built computers at several different stores, including Amazon, Newegg, Best Buy, which I rarely cover, and at iBuyPower's website themselves. Yes, that's right. This video is sponsored by iPower. Thank you very much to them for sponsoring this video. I partnered with them because I have been a customer of iBuyPower for 10 years. This is a brand new machine, and it's one of the deals in today's video. This is my original iBuyPower machine that I bought 10 years ago. This has, and still does to this day, an i7-920, first generation i7 in it. The original Asus P16 motherboard is still in there. The case, the motherboard, and the CPU, however, are the only original components. I've since replaced everything else over time. Power supply, RAM, multiple graphics cards, multiple storage devices. I actually do plan to do one more further upgrade with this machine, but that's a topic for another video. I also own a Ryzen 7 1700 bought 2 years ago off of Amazon from iBuyPower. That's my youngest son's computer at home. It was an incredible Prime Day deal, and I just had to grab it because it was like, wow, this is incredible. I could barely build it for this price. Coming back to Black Friday 2019, there are 9 deals. As I mentioned before, they will be numbered on screen, and they are numbered in the video description below to make your shopping really easy. Please be aware that several of these deals are Black Friday only. These are incredible blowout doorbuster deals, not Black Friday plus Saturday, Sunday, Monday, not Black Friday plus a week or two. Black Friday, like, you may have 12 hours or less to take advantage of them, and some of these deals may sell out. If you click the links below and the price is higher or the price is missing, well, really good deals do not last. Know what you want to buy, know what you're prepared to buy, and know what a good price is. Speaking of good price, I mentioned this is the first deal we've got to take a look at today, $649. I went on to Newegg and I priced out all the components you see here, or as close as I could possibly get, and it was over $800. They're essentially doing this at cost with almost a promotion thrown in as well. It's an incredible value. If you're looking for this, don't miss these deals. I'll have a little bit more to say about iBuyPower and what comes with it and what's in here after the deals, but you guys have listened to me talk long enough, so let's get to it, shall we? Our first deal today is an amazing one, $649. This is Black Friday only. You cannot get this Saturday or Sunday or at any point in the future. i5-9400F, 6 cores, 6 threads, 3.9 gigahertz, all-core turbo, Asus TUF B365M Plus, MSI Ventus factory overclock GTX 1660, 8 gigs of DDR4 2666, single stick, so it's super easy to buy another one, which is not very much money these days, to upgrade it to 16 gigabytes of RAM, 480 gigabyte ADATA SSD, a very beautiful addressable RGB ring light case with lots of glass, Windows, Wi-Fi, keyboard, mouse, the whole works. I priced this computer individually on the components and came to over $800. And this is delivered working. This is one of the reasons this deal is first. I've got more, but this one is probably not going to last the whole day. Like that deal, but want AMD? Deal number 2 has got you covered. Ryzen 5 3600 Zen 2, 6 cores, but 12 threads this time, Asus Prime B450M-A motherboard, a gigabyte video card instead of MSI, but still a GTX 1660, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 3000 this time, also ADATA, easy to upgrade because it comes as a single stick, 480 gigabyte ADATA SSD, RGB ring light case, keyboard, mouse, Windows, Wi-Fi, the whole 9 yards. It is $50 more, but if you want AMD and you want that upgradability of the AM4 socket, then you found your deal. Those were budget systems. This is a premium system. Go big or go home. i9-9900KF, MSI Mag Z390 Tomahawk motherboard, Gigabyte RTX 2080 Ti factory overclocked card, This thing is a beast. 16 gigs of DDR4 3200 megahertz RAM, RGB, of course. Yes, even the RAM is RGB. 1 terabyte Western Digital Blue SSD, 240 millimeter addressable RGB liquid cooler, addressable RGB case. There's more RGB here that you could shake a stick at. 750 watt Corsair 80 plus gold power supply. Everything in this system is very nice, premium top to bottom. $22.99 is a very nice price for this level of hardware. Price it out. I think you'll be surprised just how good this really is. Deal number 4 is from Amazon. 15% off, $849. i7 9700F. Base clock of 3 gigahertz, but it turbos to 4.5. GTX 1660 Ti, not a straight card, but it's a Ti, but 16 gigs of RAM, which for $849, it's really nice to see 16 gigabytes of RAM included. It's a split storage system, 240 gigabyte boot SSD with Windows 10 on it, 1 terabyte hard drive for games, data, etc., Wi-Fi, keyboard, mouse, Windows 10, and RGB ring light case. Very nice. Now, the brands of the video card and motherboard aren't listed, unlike on the iBuyPower site, but typically these are going to be Gigabyte and MSI because that's who iBuyPower works with. Deal number 5 is from Newegg. I've got 3 deals from Newegg. This is the least expensive, $799, Ryzen 5 3600, 6 cores, 12 threads, 8 gigabytes of RAM on this one, 500 gig SSD. It's a nice price point, but let me show you what you get for $200 more. For $999, deal number 6 is in a nice sweet spot. Same Ryzen 5 3600 as the last machine, but you get 3 big upgrades. Number 1, it already comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM installed. Number 2, it is an RTX 2060 Super rather than a straight 1660 Pre. That's a huge upgrade all by itself. And the case both has RGB on it, but most importantly has mesh on the front for much better airflow. If you can swing the $200, step up to this over deal number 5 in my opinion. Deal number 7, frankly, is the best of the Newegg deals. For $150 more than the one I just showed you, you get a Ryzen 7 3700X 8-core 16-thread CPU. Just look at the price difference between a Ryzen 5 3600 and a Ryzen 7 3700X. Right there, you've got a fair value for the price increase. However, we have a RX 5700 XT and a 1 terabyte hard drive added on top of the 480 gigabyte solid state drive. So you have 2 storage drives and you have a much, much faster CPU for just $150 more. Moving on to Best Buy, not a site I cover very often, but they've got a special Black Friday deal, $649. It's $200 off normal. i5 9400F, 6 core, 6 thread, 8 gigs of RAM, that beautiful RGB ring light case with all those beautiful colors, and a split storage system. 240 gigabyte main boot drive with a 1 terabyte hard drive. This is very similar to deal number 1, except the storage system is configured a bit differently, and it's from Best Buy rather than iBuyPower site directly. Some of you will like that, some of you won't, but if you want this as an option as opposed to deal number 1, it fits the bill. Deal number 9 is a substantial upgrade over deal number 8. For just over double the money, $1,499, you get the i7 9700K. This is the unlocked chip, which runs a whole lot faster in terms of clock speed, and it's 8 cores versus 6 on the i5 9400F. You have 16 gigabytes of RAM pre-installed instead of 8, but most importantly, you have an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080 Super instead of a GTX 1660. That alone is the majority of the price difference right there, and you add that to the cost of the CPU and to the fact that this has a 480 gigabyte boot SSD and a 1 terabyte hard drive instead of the 240 gig SSD, and you're getting value for the money here. If you want a premium system with a far more powerful graphics card, you've come to the right place. Well, that was a whole ton of deals, and I hope you appreciate that I tried to get through them as quickly as possible without talking about every possible use case of those machines on Earth. When it comes to an event like Black Friday, you really got to know what you're buying and be prepared to just go ahead and buy it because, as I said, a lot of these will disappear. Now, some of those deals will last through the weekend. Some of them will last through Cyber Monday, but the ones labeled Black Friday only, those are just Black Friday. They are not Saturday. They are not Sunday. Now you can see I turn this computer to the side. I want you to see inside of it. This will get a full review on the channel. I'm not trying to review it here, but I would like to point out that the components in here are the same stuff that you would buy from Amazon, Newegg, etc. This has an Asus B365 Tough motherboard, and they actually include the Asus manual, the Asus driver CD, and everything else that would come in the box except for maybe a couple of the extra cables. They do include the M.2 screw, which is important because there's no M.2 drive in here. So if you want to install another SSD on here on the M.2 slot, they provide you the screws, no problem. MSI Ventus factory overclock card, that's in there as well. Notice we have a deep cooler on the CPU. It is not a stock Intel cooler. And that's an important distinction because while they're not, okay, they are kind of terrible. The Intel stock coolers are pretty bad. So they're not using Intel stock coolers. That's pretty sweet. Now, the only thing this machine is really lacking is another 8 gigs of RAM. It comes with a single 8 gigabyte stick. Now, that's not the end of the world, but I would strongly encourage you to buy a second 8 gigabyte stick. I will link that down in the description below. It's not very expensive. Buy a second 8 gigabyte stick, throw that in there, drop it into the second memory slot over, and boom, you'll have 16 gigs in dual channel mode, no problem. I already mentioned that there's a second M.2, there's an M.2 slot available. On the back of the computer, there's a 2.5-inch drive tray back here next to, I'll turn it around in a second, where you can install another SSD back here. So there's expansion options. It's even cable managed back here pretty nicely. Is this the most super premium computer on earth? No. For $649, you shouldn't be expecting it. For what this is, I love this machine at this price point. It is an incredible deal. And if you guys are looking for something at this price point, I really do like it. Or spend the $50 as I showed you in the deals and get the AMD version. It's the $699. It's deal number 2. Basically, it replaces a motherboard with a B450, replaces the CPU with a Ryzen 5 3600. Otherwise, the graphics card was switched out with a gigabyte, as I mentioned before. Otherwise, it's basically the same computer. So you just have the choice of Intel or AMD there. Several other things they provide you here. Wi-Fi adapter. It's actually plugged into a slot here, so it's upgradable and replaceable. They do provide you with a very nice RGB lit mouse that has side buttons, top buttons, even a DPI scaling. It's an optical mouse. Very nice. The keyboard is nicer than you'd think that comes with these. I use one of these keyboards on my test bench. This is RGB with 8 different modes built in, no clunky Windows software required. It programs directly on the keyboard. Media keys on the top, it lights up, it's really, really beautiful. It's not a $100 Cherry MX mechanical keyboard, which you shouldn't expect at this price point. However, if this is what you're looking for, give the keyboard a try. You might be pleasantly surprised. It is not as bad as what Dell and Acer and those companies tend to put in their computers, which is really cheap. This is a nice mid-range keyboard. I'd say it's worth $20, $25 as it stands, and that's not bad for a membrane keyboard. I have covered the pros and cons of custom build versus pre-built on my channel in the past numerous times, both in a dedicated video and live streams. I'm not going to rehash that here. This is a Black Friday deal video. What I will say is that this is kind of a hybrid of the two. It is a pre-built custom because there's nothing in here that's not standard parts. You could buy this like I bought this 10 years ago and over time slowly replace every single thing in here with something new, part by part by part, just as if you'd bought it yourself. But you don't have to mess with warranty and support when you first get it. Everything's going to work out of the box. And then you can just add one part at a time and grow with it over time. Or hand it down to your brother, sister, aunt, cousin, uncle, nephew, stranger, friend, pizza delivery guy, take your pick, and then go buy yourself a new one in 3 or 4 years' time. Probably not those last 2 or 3, but you know, it's an option. At the price point these are at, if you are I know you're sick of me hearing saying it. If you're in the market for a computer right now and you're looking for this or one of the higher range ones, the $1,149 one that I showed you on Newegg with the Ryzen 7 3700X, that is a sweet deal. You don't have to build it. You'll be gaming in 30 minutes. Windows is installed. Everything's activated and working. That's not bad for the prices these are currently going at today and a couple of them for the next 3 or 4 days. In any case, like this video if you like it, share it with your friends if you love it, but just for a couple of days. Be sure you're subscribed to my channel. We will be doing a live stream early in the morning, maybe at lunchtime on Black Friday. So shortly after this publishes, we'll be doing a live stream with a whole bunch more deals. But I hope you guys find this interesting. Let me know in the comment section below, either did you buy one of these 9 deals for Black Friday or through the weekend, or did you custom build your machine and maybe use one of these as a guide and example? I fully understand that buying a pre-built machine isn't for everybody. Some of you go, man, I love custom building. I want to build my own. That's great. Do that. By all means, have at it if you think that's fun. Of course, if you watch this video and you weren't happy with any of the configurations or you prefer picking your own parts, allow me to point you to the very top link in the video description, their Custom Configurator. They will custom build you a machine, Intel or AMD, and let you pick your parts. It's not completely unlimited. You can't pick any part in existence. But if you, for example, would prefer an ASUS ROG Strix video card instead of an MSI or Gigabyte, they will do that. If you would prefer an EVGA 80 Plus Gold power supply instead of a Thermaltake or whatever they put in here, they will do that. If you would prefer a 240 or 360 millimeter liquid cooler, if you would prefer a branded one from, for example, Corsair, they will do that. Obviously, it costs more, but it certainly is an option. And they've got a code for 5% off any custom machine down in the description below, and free shipping and a variety of other things, so go check that out. Well, that was the longest outro ever. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you next time.